children now. This important report provides an annual update of how we are doing in providing our young people in our community and in our state the best opportunities for success. And while the numbers are important, and I'll touch on a few of them in a little bit, if you look at any single number or any single portion of a child's life, it only gives you part of the story. Numerous factors work together to create the safety net that supports our young people. That's why the Kids Count data book looks at economic well-being, families and community, health and development, as well as education. And just as these factors work together to create a safety net, their absence makes a larger likelihood that our kids will fall through the cracks. So when a state budget cut results in 11,400 fewer children receiving childhood education, and additional cuts and delays in payments mean another 6,700 children could lose additional pre-K services, it creates a hole in our safety net. When after-school programs such as Teen Reach that contribute to improved academic performance and job readiness, as well as improved social and emotional health, are cut by half, there's another hole. When 15% of Illinois high school students have seriously considered suicide in the last 12 months, and 9% have actually made one or more suicide attempts, and then school-based and community mental health services are cut by 20%, it creates yet a bigger hole. When fewer parents are able to financially access child care services, when we have more children living in poverty, all of these things contribute to huge holes in our children's safety net, and it becomes pretty easy for a child to fall through. These are difficult times, and our elected officials, our human service professionals, our educational leaders are having to make decisions that no one wants to make. And while each individual cut is difficult in and of itself, as a community of individuals who care about our children, we have to look at the cumulative impact of the cuts that our children are experiencing. Thanks to the Kids Count data book, we can look at the hard numbers of that cumulative impact. And those numbers help us focus our efforts in the areas that will have the greatest impact on our young people. For Adams County, the report is a bit of a mixed bag. We're making strides in some areas. For instance, while 51% of our Quincy Public School students are low income, which exceeds the statewide average of 48%, more of our kids are graduating. We exceed the statewide average for graduation. In effect, our kids are starting with greater challenges and ending their high school career with better outcomes. In other areas, we have a lot of work to do. Between fiscal year 2006 and fiscal year 2010, substantiated cases of child abuse and neglect in Adams County increased by 25.4%, far eclipsing the statewide increase of 9.1%. Those increases are certainly substantiated by the fact that the children in Chaddock's foster care program during that same period increased by, believe it or not, 25.4%. Our children deserve better. So how does this report help mend the safety net for our children? By shining a light both on the successes and the challenges faced by our young people, this information can help organizations like the United Way choose where their support is most needed. It helps persuade grant makers like those funding the Adams County Children's Mental Health Partnership to provide support for collaborative efforts in this community rather than somewhere else. It gives Chaddock the support we need to be successful in securing a federal grant that, among other things, allowed us to provide create a partnership with our public schools so that more than 1,000 children receive support for traumatic experiences in their lives. I'd now like to invite Trish Viniard, one of the advocates of our partnership with Quincy Public Schools, to come forward and share a few words.
Thank you, and good morning. As Debbie just indicated, each of the data points in the Illinois Kids Count report is like a photo. It's like a single picture or snapshot of one variable or component. When you look at the entire report, when you put all of the photos together, you get more of a photo album, and it tells a story. So our story right now in Quincy Public Schools involves a startling number of children who are in need, struggling, or are up against significant challenges. You referenced the district's poverty rate that was reported, but actually this year it's gone up even more. And right now we're at an all-time high poverty rate of 56%. But when you drill a little more deeply, you find out even more. Just a couple of days ago, our food service director reported that 65% of our students who are eligible for free meals in the district are in one or more of the 4 categories or groups that are called or known as food insecure groups, 65%. Our early childhood director, Julie Sheckman, recently reported on the progress of kindergarten students who are considered at risk due to low socioeconomic status. So, and then she divided them into at-risk kindergartners who had attended early childhood, been part of an early childhood program, and those who had not. And so of the at-risk kindergartners who had not been able to participate or had not participated in an early childhood education, only 48% of them met or exceeded at the end of first quarter the basic literacy expectations or proficiencies. Of the at-risk children who had the opportunity to attend and be part of our early childhood program, 62% met or exceeded the literacy expectations. So we're really, really proud that our Board of Education took a leap of faith by reinstating a more comprehensive early childhood program this year, knowing the uncertainty of the funding. However, at this time, we have not received any, literally zero, of the early childhood funding that we have been promised. And so I'm very worried about the future of this critical program. So just to conclude, I would just like to say we have bright and highly capable students in our district, many of whom are working to overcome significant academic, behavioral, or social-emotional challenges. We have extremely talented and dedicated educators who are being asked to do more with less staff and fewer resources for more students in need. So both the students and the educators are in need of more supporters, not more critics. Thank you for taking the time to review the report and to reach out to educators, Board of Education members, and our legislators to find out how you can assist or advocate on behalf of our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. In addition to focusing on education as one of the key factors that impact child well-being, this report also looks at how we're doing in terms of our children's health and development. In Illinois, less than 5% of children lack health insurance coverage, one of the lowest uninsured rates in the country. However, from a mental health standpoint, recent cuts in the funding of prevention and early intervention programs mean fewer children have access to services that can positively impact their functioning in all areas of their lives. John Roope sees evidence of that impact all too often throughout the state. As Chaddock's Director of Early Childhood Mental Health Services, John heads Caregiver Connections, a statewide mental health consultation program that works with child caring professionals. John, would you share a few comments with us?
Sure. The numbers that you just presented just blew me away because they're even a less rosy picture than the one that is painted in the book. Dropping down maybe a couple of years from the age groups you're used to working with and getting down to 3s and 4s, research shows that that age group is kicked out of group settings more than all other groups combined. So if you're looking for the kids that are sometimes the least stable in care, it's the youngest. You did that. I've got to do something visual. Okay. Go around this town any way you want to, find groups of kids gathered, and throw a ball. Who got it? Okay. Toss another one. That was good. Okay. You guys stand up. 51% is what was listed in the book, and I think you tossed an even higher one. But all you have to do is toss a couple of balls, and you're going to hit a kid that is low income, functioning at risk. Toss another one. And another one. Now we have 2 kids that are at risk. And at least one of those kids is from a single parent family, which are hit harder by these kinds of economic conditions than others. And I got one more. Go to the back somewhere. Okay. And I only had to toss out 5 balls into the room. I got a couple kids in low-income situations, at least one from a single parent family, and now I've got one below the poverty level, which is much rosier as a picture than the picture that you painted, Trish, because your numbers were, wow. Now, those are kids. Now, will you please do something for me? Instead of picturing kids, picture their parents standing there. Because each one of those kids represents at least one parent, someone that's trying to get them from here to here as best they can. Take a look at this and just think in terms of what that means to the families of the kids who are trying to move their kids ahead. So you did a very nice job advocating for kids and teachers. I just want to put in this bit for parents, because especially with the age group that I work with, the very little ones, parents are just about all they got.
Thank you, John. While the Kids Count report doesn't provide answers to the hard questions that face our local, state, and national leaders, it is an important part of the puzzle. This information adds clarity to the picture of what our children experience each and every day. And once we have that clarity, it is incumbent upon us, the grown-ups, to act. Thank you very much for your time today. We have copies of the report at the back of the room. I would invite you to take a copy. Use those numbers to add strength to what you're doing to help guide what extra steps you need to take on behalf of children and families who really are the most valuable asset we have in our community. Thank you so much for coming.